Tonight, we are going to witness the most anticipated match in the history of professional wrestling for the heavyweight championship of the world. Let's get ready to rumble!
Oh, look at that.
The Godzilla Kong cinematic universe, or as they like to call it, Monsterverse, is one of the strangest franchises around. I'm really not sure if anyone loves it or if anyone hates it. It just exists, and we all go to watch them, and they seem to make plenty of money. And I'm sure that's thanks to having monsters and some great trailers that are at times pretty misleading. Now, I may be one of the few people that enjoyed the 2014 Godzilla. I went in expecting a completely different film with a completely different lead actor, but I enjoyed the non-monster monster movie quite a lot. Gareth Edwards did an interesting job with that film, and I'd still like to see his completed version of Rogue One. Sadly, he hasn't done anything since Rogue One, so I'm hoping Kathleen Kennedy didn't put him on the Gina Carano blacklist. Next, we had Kong Skull Island, which I enjoyed a lot, way more than I thought I would, and especially on repeat viewings. Every time that thing pops up on TV, I get stuck watching it, but you see, I just can't help it. I grew up in a household that had a VHS copy of the 1976 King Kong, and I just can't help but love that big furry guy. As a young boy, that movie taught me a lot about apes and about women, Miss Slang. My least favourite King Kong movie is the Peter Jackson Behemoth. I was pretty excited that he was making a King Kong film after experiencing the Lord of the Rings series, but it was way too melodramatic and ugly. And so much of the action was unnecessary and ridiculous, which sounds a stupid thing to say about a King Kong movie, but they were ridiculous. And I've always wanted to know, how in every movie do they get the apes on those bloody ships? And why are they so prepared to have a huge monkey on board? Yes, Peter Jackson's King Kong is just way too long and it takes itself way too seriously.
It was beauty killed the beast.
Where Kong Skull Island is the opposite of Peter Jackson's King Kong. It got the mix just right. It's not too long. It definitely doesn't take itself too seriously, and it looks great. That film is just a joy to watch. Kong is sufficiently violent. That introduction scene with the choppers is a blast, and as an action scene is really well put together. Samuel Jackson gets to ham it up for the whole film in the best way possible. Well, nearly the whole film. Even John C. Reilly, who can be really hit or miss whether he's annoying or not, is a hit in this. I even love the ending where he makes it home to his sweetheart. That must have been a bit awkward for a new husband, but I'm sure they worked it out.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yup!
There are a lot of very enjoyable deaths, and there is this great young actress called Brie Larson who is also really good in it. Oh, it's that Brie Larson. What the fuck happened to her?
Am I saying that I hate white dudes? No. And I'm also saying I don't hate white dudes, and for the third time, I don't hate white dudes.
Hate white dudes.
And one thing that I really like about that film is a lot of it happened during the day, which you can't exactly say about the next film. Godzilla King of the Monsters has a lot of action in the dark, but if you do like monsters and you didn't like the lack of monster action in the first film, then this was the monster film for you. But personally, I still preferred Skull Island and its balance of monsters, humans, and humour.
You shouldn't have come here.
Now we have Godzilla vs. Kong, which, when talking about it, needs to be divided into two different sections. The action and then the stupid story. Now, I know there are people out there who think judging the script in a monster movie is missing the point, but you're wrong, and we'll get to that. The fights between Godzilla and Kong are pretty spectacular. The CGI these days is so good that these huge fights, even in supposed bright sunlight, look fantastic. And the director does a great job of relaying the power and size of Godzilla and Kong, even though a couple of times he looked like he was going to start spinning that camera a bit too much, but he manages to pull it back just before we get lost in what the fuck is happening. And of course there will be spoilers from this moment on. Now the best battle for me is the first encounter between Godzilla and Kong in the middle of the ocean on some of the most stable ships I've ever seen. You do have to appreciate the human life in these films means absolutely zero unless you have a speaking part, and even that still doesn't mean much. Thousands of Navy personnel are killed within minutes, which is nothing compared to the end of the film where millions are killed within minutes. But this is a Godzilla movie, so that has to happen. Kong jumping between the ships, joining in the mass killing spree is magically topped off with Kong grabbing a plane that was about to take off and throwing it at Godzilla. Sadly, this time the pilot ejects and disappointingly gets away. They weren't so lucky last time. And we see at the end of this battle that Godzilla only cares if there is a threat from another beast, which we learned at the end of King of the Monsters, and it still doesn't make a lot of sense when you look at Godzilla's actions, especially towards the end of this film. The other big confrontation is the final battle, which is fine and looks cool, but I do prefer the weirder animals getting involved. I can only watch a CGI ape punch a CGI lizard so many times and stay excited. I can't believe I said that. What's wrong with me? But without the human element woven in, I'm just watching CGI wrestling, which still sounds awesome, but you can only take so much.
That's really all I can tell you now. Good day.
Now, earlier in the movie, when the winged dragons attacked Kong in the center of the world, Hollow Earth, and one tries to smother him with his wing, that's what I like to see. Less hairy man and more weird beast. Kong smashing up its wings and eating its brain is also a nice touch, though needing the humans to save him seemed an odd choice, seeing as he was going to take on the king of the monsters, and that made him look a bit shit. So if you can shove popcorn in your face at a rate that will slightly choke you so you are distracted long enough between fights that you miss the story, then you'll have a good time. Godzilla vs. Kong is 10 out of 10.
Fucking good, right? Fucked up.
But if you think, I've paid my money to see this, the writers got paid, and I'm guessing quite a lot, maybe if the bits between the fights could not give me brain cancer, that would also be a good thing.
Anyone know where this leads to?
Now, I saw a lot of early comments from people saying that reviewers discussing script quality in a monster movie are idiots. Who cares? It's a monster movie. And when I see people saying that, all I hear is,
this is a film about space wizards intended for children.
You may as well put Godzilla and Kong on Dickwad's sign here, because it's the same argument. A bad script is still a bad script, no matter how much you want the monkey to punch things.
I need my bleach in bulk!
That's how we find him. The bleach.
Bernie. Yeah, I know that guy. He buys like a ton of bleach.
Now, I don't want some deep, melodramatic human drama taking up time in my monster movie. Peter Jackson already gave us that, and that's a horrible experience. But I would like a little bit of effort put in. I'd like to have some investment in the characters and the world we're meant to be in. Give me one human interaction that seems normal. Let me understand if I'm still in the same universe as the other films. Because in this film, fucking anything goes. 1 minute we're on a contemporary aircraft carrier with today's planes. Next, anti-gravity and spaceships are commonplace. Like I said, I don't want the humans taking up too much time in my monkey lizard movie. I know he's not a monkey, he's an ape, but I like saying monkey. Don't you dare say something in the comments. But the humans are going to take up some time in this movie. So can't we just make those bits clever and entertaining as well? You don't get a discount if the human sections are annoyingly stupid.
Feel free to be impressed.
The writers add unnecessary complexity, but then they can't be fuck making the story make any sense. And I can't help that stupidity keeps distracting me.
Until gravity inverts itself and spits us into freefall.
Skull Island, like other Kong movies, gets it right. Go to an island for reasons. Big motherfucking ape on island. Meet the locals. Survive the shit crazy island and all its fucking weirdness and make it out of there alive. Or you could put 3 dudes on a boat, add a shark and make one of the best movies of all time. It's simple. Make the talky bits as fun as the punchy, killy bits.
Okay, so we drink our legs.
To all the ball handlers out there, you know who you are. Today's video is sponsored by Manscaped.com. A wise man once said, some balls are held for charity and some for fancy dress. But when they're held for pleasure, they're the balls that I like best. And now is the perfect time to hold on to some balls because it might just save a life. In addition to providing the right tools for a safe and easy grooming, Manscaped has partnered with the Testicular Cancer Society to spread awareness for men's health and early cancer detection because it kills millions. And I've been lucky enough to try their high quality kit and let me tell you, I feel like a new robot.
Oh, robot head.
Now, if you're looking for yourself or for a loved one, check out my personal favourite, the Performance Package. It's great value and it also makes a great gift for that hairy person in your life. This pack includes the famous Lawn Mower, the Weed Whacker, Crop Preserver, Crop Reviver, and Magic Mat. Plus, a free shed travel bag and free pair of anti-chafing boxes. Those balls are going to feel like magic. You'll get a wonderful 20% off and free international shipping if you use the code ROBOT20 at manscaped.com. See the link below. Every purchase at manscaped.com goes towards contributions made to the Testicular Cancer Society, which is a bloody good thing. Join the Manscaped movement and start taking care of that precious cargo today.
Show me your
We relate way more to these films if there's places and things we can relate to. This just adds to the experience and the entertainment value. Watching 2 monsters destroy an aircraft carrier or throw jets at each other never gets old. because they make the world's defenses just look brittle and weak, which adds to their power. But Godzilla vs. Kong just boots that idea out the window. Not because it's clever, it does it for convenience to the script. The writers decided they wanted a cool, Hello Earth, weird, gravity-flipping story, but then they thought it sounded a bit hard to manage for an entire movie using today's technology, even though the Hollow Earth gravity story is their idea. Well, it's not completely their idea, it's basically Brendan Fraser's journey to the center of the Earth with Godzilla and Kong added in. They even steal the hero is the brother of the guy who went in first and died. But anyway, the writers decided they were doing the gravity-flipping story, but that's all the effort they wanted to put in. So they just said, fuck it, humans can now control gravity in this world, and double fuck it, humans also get spaceships. And they aren't just space capsules for science like some lame-ass scientists would have. They are pre-equipped with rockets and guns for battle.
Prepare to attack!
And of course, because this is modern Hollywood, the writers don't care about the continuing story past their films. They never think, you can't turn that back and not have spaceships in the next Kong movie. No, I'm not serious. It's Hollywood, they don't care. I bet the Air Force would love to know about this technology. Could have saved a few lives. Why are they burning fossil fuels like fucking cavemen? What a bunch of idiots. Also, these spaceships are amazing. Anyone can jump in and fly them. Yes, our sort of hero that everyone just talks to like shit the whole movie.
Who's the idiot who came up with this idea?
Seeing one for the first time to flying one within minutes with no setup that he knows how to fly at all.
Hold on, ladies.
Just give us one scene of him landing a bloody helicopter on the ship and we might not be left scratching our heads when he flies the anti-gravity spaceship, which he just flies up through the hole that Godzilla just blasted into the earth trying to kill Kong. And flying out looked way easier than the trip down to Hollow Earth. It's as if they were just racing to get to the bit where the lizard and the monkey punch. I did like that Kong had a throne room with a chair and a carved statue, and none of this was interesting enough to the filmmakers for them to explain it to us. Did other Kongs carve those statues? Who made the magic axe, and why was it just conveniently left sitting there? Look at Kong just working it out step by step, all on his own. So we see Godzilla blast a hole in the earth to get Kong. We've been shown earlier in this film and in the previous film that Godzilla only attacks other monsters that are threatening his dominance. He let Kong go earlier because he was tired, so Godzilla had no reason to be angry when Kong moved to Hollow Earth, where apparently all the monsters come from and still live. This winged lizard thing nearly killed Kong. Godzilla should have blasted a hole in the earth and killed that thing. I don't think Kong knew how to or wanted to return to the surface, so Godzilla blasting an access hole for him and any other monsters to come through didn't seem the smartest move. Also, these writers just take shortcuts at every opportunity. Now we have technology that can take a sample of a completely unknown chemical, send it through Wi-Fi, and perfectly recreate it thousands of miles away. A chemical so magical it brings a machine to life with the help of it being connected to a skull of another monster in a room attached to a guy's head. Now I do understand that we want to see a mechanical Godzilla fight Godzilla and Kong, so we do have to forgive some stupid ideas. But as a suggestion, instead of the magical box that can Wi-Fi the chemical, maybe have the mysterious chemical be discovered at the start of the film. Maybe have it be the cause why the local villagers died, because they didn't even bother trying to explain all the villagers were wiped out within one generation. Then we would have the whole film to get it to the lab and ready for Robo-Lizard. This would also allow us to have a nicer reason for taking Kong to the Hollow World, because it could have been done out of kindness, that they were just looking for a safe home for Kong away from Godzilla. But instead we get, let's just risk Kong's life for the wonder juice that might not exist. Our supposed hero, Mr. Flatline, no personality, not sure if we're even meant to like him, dude. He at least had his reasons to go there, and he didn't have a connection to Kong. Where is Brendan Fraser when you need him? Oh, I see. Nothing a bit of lipo and a wig wouldn't fix. But this bitch. She's the most evil person in the film. She's supposedly Kong's loving guardian who explains that Godzilla will attack Kong and kill him if Kong is removed from his protective sanctuary.
If he leaves, Godzilla will come for him. There can't be two Alpha Titans.
She agrees to send Kong on a trip of misery where he will most likely die and can never return home. She agrees to all that after a 2-minute conversation with this guy. And surprisingly, she has the sole power to make this call regarding Kong's future. A call that will endanger millions of people around the world. She just gets to decide on her own.
When it comes to Kong, what I say goes.
She just gets to decide on her own what could be the fate of the world without even much thought. No government involvement in the decision, no military involvement in the decision. Just this single mum making it on her own. She apparently answers to no one. A single mum who has no problem putting her adopted child in mortal danger for research. To be fair, she can hardly keep track of the kid.
Is she supposed to be out there?
who happens to be the last of her tribe and who is constantly in danger. She's a great role model who teaches her native child the value of lying by lying to her and making her lie to Kong. This woman is so great at her life's work of studying Kong that in the years of research, she never noticed that Kong had become fluent in sign language. Kong even knows the word Godzilla. She watched and studied him closely for years but never picked up on this. These people, all the way back there, saw an ape touch its head in the dark through a storm, and somehow they picked up he knew sign language.
Did the monkey just talk?
But you've got to give it to the writers. This was a stroke of genius having Kong know sign language fluently, because now the writers don't have to think of clever ways to make a story work or have Kong do things. They now have a character that can just tell him the next part of the script, so he can just go ahead and do it. And making Kong understand humans isn't the peak of lazy writing. Not only will characters just tell Kong what to do, because that's easier than thinking of something interesting, they are also going to include a character that just tells the audience what is happening in the film, not through clever dialogue or well-cut scenes. No, just him straight out saying what's happening in the film. This is peak genius from Hollywood, because you see, there is a side quest that includes 3 people you would never want to get stuck in an elevator with. One we've met before. One has a side gig doing Subway ads for healthy eating. Seems to be working. And one of the characters is luckily working at the secret facility and conveniently also has a podcast, so we can have him just announce what is happening without the writers having to think of a situation where we could maybe learn this information in a more interesting way. They don't even have to write him into a conversation with another character. He can just announce the story on his own.
Okay, class, listen up. I found some crazy tech with no official classification.
I fear having a podcaster in your film is going to become a trend. His brilliant combination of secret facility worker and conspiracy theorist allows him to not only have the questions we need, but also the answers in every situation they find themselves in.
Bitch, what? They hardwired its DNA. Self-generating neural pathways capable of intuitive learning. It's a living supercomputer.
This trio's whole story is convenient mishap after convenient mishap that takes them from one side of the world to the other. They're just walking in and out of high security buildings and rooms with ease. Also, they can just explain the story as we go along and save the day by pouring a drink over a computer, Homer Simpson style. And it works. That flip phone footage he's taking in that low light is going to look amazing. Here's a clip. Those 5 pixels really had to work overtime.
Get out!
At one stage, they walk into a large warehouse-sized room that's pitch black. As they enter this scary, dark, warehouse-sized room with blood splattered on the walls and rotting bits of carcass on the ground, the podcaster declares, "This is a sacrifice pit," which, for most people, would seem quite shocking and fairly scary.
So what is this place?
Well, if there's a corporate-friendly term for sacrifice pit, I'd say we are in it.
Entering a room that's built for monsters to eat other monsters. And none of them react. Even as a warning siren starts, they just keep walking in with just no fear at all. There doesn't seem to be any danger to them whatsoever. But this happens a lot with these guys. They also conveniently walk into a room where the second in charge of this high security building is using their super duper secret weapon. This just happens to be the most important room in this very important building. This room could hold the key to the survival of mankind, and no one, not an assistant, not a guard, no one stops them. They just walk in and walk around, do whatever they want. It's super convenient. They make it from one side of the planet to the other to end up at the exact right place to help save the day, all through dumb luck. Once they met each other, they didn't do one thing or make one decision that helped them get there. But apparently that's what we deserve today. If a movie falls into the fun category, then only a wanker would ask for anything above a story that could be thrown together in a day. Hollywood are trying their very best to convince us that we don't need characters like Doc, Egon, or Dr. Hammond. We don't need clever and fun scripts in our stupid blockbuster movies. If they can sell us the idea that fun movies means little to no effort from the studios, then all their jobs get a lot easier. But if you want something that's slightly more than CGI monsters punching each other, this film mightn't be for you. Maybe watch Love and Monsters. That was a recent monster movie that was mostly fun to watch and made for a fraction of the cost, but that's because it was filmed in Australia. So all the monsters are real.